Hello again. I'm David Weaver. With over a quarter century of experience as a public relations professional, I understand the importance of getting a story straight. After all, perception is reality until the reality becomes the perception. The reality is that someone, somewhere, is talking about you. More importantly, they are listening to you. The way you communicate makes a huge difference in public perception of your school, business, church, or nonprofit organization. Right Team Services helps you tell your story with clarity and purpose. From website and social media content to press releases, graphic design, promotional videos, crisis communications, and more, Right Team Services delivers professional messaging built around your goals. Visit rightteamservices.net and learn more about how Right Team Services can help you tell your story more effectively and efficiently. Right Team Services, purposeful communication with powerful impact.
Friday nights are built on teamwork, and so are we at Styles Electric. Just like the best teams in East Texas, success starts with hard work, dedication, and people you can count on. That's why Styles Electric is looking for the next great teammate. Whether you're an experienced electrician or ready to learn the trade, there's a place for you on a team that's powering commercial projects across East Texas. Don't sit on the sidelines. Step into a career with a company that's been getting the job done for over a quarter century. Call 903-235-2536 or visit styleselectric.com. Styles Electric. Reliable, professional, experienced.
Welcome to From the Press Box on the Right Team podcast, where sports are more than just scores. They're stories. From Friday night lights across East Texas to the biggest games and headlines in college and professional sports, we bring you thoughtful analysis, honest opinions, and conversations that go beyond the field. Whether you're a lifelong fan, a coach, an athlete, or simply someone who loves the game, you've found your seat with us in the press box. I'm David Weaver. Thanks for joining me here from the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. Heisman candidates. I picked my top three here. And again,
Who you got?
I got my number one candidate, and I'm trying to not be biased here, but I just believe with all the weapons he's got around him, he's got the potential, overwhelming potential, to put up numbers that we all expected from him. And of course, that's Arch Manning, quarterback at Texas.
Yeah.
He's got the last name going for him, and again, there are no excuses now for Arch or Sarkisian at Texas. Yep. So I have him as my number one, and then I had a couple more on here. I think you got to include Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. As much as a wide receiver can affect the game, I think he will affect it. And then I went with Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. What an electrifying player! There's many publications I've seen that actually rank him above Arch in terms of NFL ability and NFL potential. So I don't think he would be drafted above Arch in the same draft. We'll find out next spring, most likely, depending on who you believe. But that would be my top three candidates preseason entering the season for Heisman.
How about this? I have none of those three on my top three.
Ooh. Sleeper for your Heisman picks.
Well, I think we're going to find out probably not. Quarterback on the best team is always a Heisman candidate. Julian Sayin, who last year was a first-year starter. Like you went Jeremiah Smith. So I thought about Jeremiah Smith, but then I was like, if I'm going to say Ohio State's going to be the best team all year, that probably means Julian Sayin's playing pretty good. And at the end of the day, if the quarterback's playing really good, it doesn't matter how good that wide receiver is. Somebody's got to get him the ball. And so I think Sayin is going to emerge the quarterback on the best team. So I've got him, again, first-year starter last year, someone that's probably going to put up pretty good stats because of that schedule, somebody that's going to be at the forefront as far as the rankings go, Notre Dame, C.J. Carr. I've got him in the mix. I think as a freshman last year, he really grew into that role. But here's the big deal. Last year, they had Jeremiah Love, who C.J. Carr knew, I can just give him the ball. If Notre Dame's offense is going to roll this year, it's not going to be because of a running back. It's going to be because of C.J. Carr. But my third one, you know, um, whatever reason, Miami, what they do with quarterbacks, you look at Cam Ward, you look at Carson Beck, who reinvented himself. Darian Mintz is a really good quarterback. He was really good at Duke last year, and he's going to walk in with Malachi Toney, who I thought about putting on there, with a serious weapon there. I've got Miami as one of the top 5 teams in my playoff. I'm going to go Mensa, the quarterback at Miami, and say, you know, I don't know what it is, but quarterbacks go to Miami and suddenly reinvent themselves into major NFL prospects. And so Darian Mensa is my other one. I like the Jeremiah Smith pick. I like Malachi Toney at Miami. I kind of went quarterback because typically that's how we're going to go, is looking at the quarterback. But so Sayin, Carr, and Mensa for me.
Yeah, I didn't want to go all 3 quarterbacks. And I kind of look at it like this. Is Julian Sayin, does Jeremiah Smith look better, make Julian Sayin look better, or does Julian
Yeah.
Sayin make Jeremiah Smith look better?
Yeah.
And I believe it's overwhelmingly Jeremiah Smith. I mean,
Yeah.
I could roll you out there behind center with that cat out there at wide receiver, and you look pretty good, even wearing
Yeah.
your Arkansas colors. So, um, you know,
And it's the same deal with Toney at Miami.
right.
Malachi Toney, they're going to line up. In fact, I probably should have put him instead of Mensa on there,
Right.
but Malachi Toney's going to take a lot of snaps this year.
Sure.
He's going to be tough.
And I'm looking at, and I'll be fair, is Cam Coleman going to make Arch Manning look better?
Yep.
Arch, for everything that I thought he put up with last year, I thought he ended the year on a strong note and a high note and was playing well. He did not have, Cam Coleman, a talent like Cam Coleman out there to throw to, with Ryan Wingo now being a number 2. Like I said, he's got weapons all over the field. There is no excuse for him to not be the next great Manning at the college level. So, but anyway, if he can reach those expectations, I believe he'll be the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
I just think he will.
I wanted to put Mateer on here just to make you mad, but I just don't think it. I
Don't do
didn't
that.
think it was.
It's too early in the season for that.
He's not a realistic enough candidate in my mind to put on there, so I just couldn't.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mention Oklahoma on any of my podcasts if I didn't have to. They are the team that shall not be named. So,
I will tell you one thing that could be fun is if one team that we've kind of talked about here, and I don't know. I'm looking at my Phil Steele magazine that I always love to look at, but the stats that Navy can sometimes put up, and especially the quarterback running, the Navy quarterback's expected to do a lot more than most quarterbacks. If Navy makes the playoff, how cool would it be to see their quarterback be in New York? Not going to win the Heisman, but to be one of the finalists. That would be really, really cool.
Roger Staubach all over again, baby.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the final thing here is we get ready to close out our college football preview. Again, college football, at least some semblance of it, begins this coming weekend. And so what's your biggest storyline that we haven't talked about? Maybe a question you have in your mind or two about the upcoming season.
For me, and I don't know, I've got a few.
And don't pick the one I've got. So,
well, and I've got a few. So let me ask you which one you've got before I jump in, because I don't want to take yours.
Well, I've got 3 as well. So we can piggyback off of each other. But my first one is, and I am fascinated to see how this works. But what does LSU plus Lane Kiffin really equal?
Mm-hmm. We didn't even talk about him, the whole thing. We didn't even talk about him once.
Right. Depending on who you ask, LSU is a top 10 team now, and will not be in the top 25 at the end of the year. I mean, there's such a big range because there's so much unknown. There's the Lane Kiffin factor, although to his credit, he has appeared to kind of back away a little bit it's hard to say that a coach of his age and his experience has matured. But I believe that you can see a little bit of that with him here in this offseason. He's almost had to because of some things that have gone on at LSU, notwithstanding the most recent joke of a controversy with the whole Jaden Daniels #5 thing. We won't even
Gosh.
get into that, um, but at some point he is going to say something. You would expect him to say or do something that is going to be so outrageous. LSU is a college football blue blood. I believe they are,
Yeah.
and so their fans. I know a bunch of LSU fans, and they can be annoying, just like A&M fans and just like Oklahoma fans, right? Probably they would say that Texas fans can be annoying. But one thing that they do pride themselves on is just taking care of business. They don't really, at least the ones I know, they're all about football. They're all about LSU. They're all about the Tigers. I mean, it's like that. They don't like a whole lot of this off the field, you know, nonsense that Lane Kiffin has
Yeah.
engaged in that he could get away with at Ole Miss. There's already a little bit of Lane Kiffin fatigue. 2 or 3 months on the job, you could kind of sense that if you talk to your LSU fans. How all of that's going now. We all know the perfect deodorant for all of that is winning,
Sure.
right? Um, Ed Orgeron was the most warded up individual that you could talk to. I mean, he you know, but he won, and he won big for at least for a couple seasons, and they loved him down there.
Yep.
And so let's take it with a grain of salt. If we're honest, we're all like that. But the winning has to happen, and it probably has to happen pretty quick. Is he going to, if he comes out here and he goes, 5-7 his first year, are they going to have the patience to put up with that?
Yeah.
We'll see. And you can already see him kind of changing his personality in preparation for that. And again, kudos to him. Again, by all signs, again, a guy at his age who's been doing this for as long time, who's already established who he is. It's kind of hard to say that he's finally matured, but that's kind of what it looks like. At least this summer, he's been pretty quiet. And but anyway, I'm just kind of interested to see how that marriage works.
Yeah. My first one, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of this because that marriage working is one of the things that's critical to mine. Um, the SEC has lost its stranglehold on we're the best conference in the country, and there's no doubt about it. It might still be, but you're looking at the SEC had one team in the Final Four last year. That was Ole Miss, which was a bit of a surprise. The year before that, they didn't have anyone in the Final Four. We've had 3 straight years with no SEC team in the championship. And people love to say, well, but top to bottom, they're deeper. And fine, maybe they are. Maybe they are deeper top to bottom. But one of the things I hear from SEC teams all the time, or proponents of SEC teams, which I am, we beat each other up through the season, and then that we struggle in the playoff because we're okay. Then why did you add a 9th game to the conference schedule? I don't get that. Like, this is put up or shut up for the SEC, and it's not so much Georgia or Texas because they've been players in this thing for the last few years. It's LSU. You've got to get back in there. It's Alabama. This is a huge year for Alabama. Alabama does not really accept, okay, we were on the cusp of making the playoff, or we were in the playoff but didn't even get a home game. They don't accept that. That you have got to be, Alabama either needs to be in the top 4 getting a bye every year, or they at least need to be having a home playoff game. And the first 2 years of this thing, they haven't had it. And so Kalen DeBoer, it's kind of, you may say, well, that's unfair. Sorry, you follow Nick Saban. This is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you get. But the SEC has got to, I think, not only put 5 teams in there, but they better have at least 1 or 2 with the bye, and they better have another 1 or 2 hosting a game
Right.
so that they can be sure that we get to this Final Four, and it's no longer the Big Ten that's got multiple teams in it. It's us again.
Yeah.
And that's a big storyline to me, because you can tell me that your 9 through 16 is better than the Big Ten. That's fine. No one cares. No one cares that you won the Weed Eater Bowl or the whatever bowl against the Big Ten. They want to know that you're winning that, and the SEC is not doing it right now.
Yeah.
And that's a big storyline for me.
Yeah. I would go so far as to say this, and look, the Ole Miss thing last year became a good story in the playoffs, right? I mean, they ran without their coach, and they made it to the semifinals. It was a great story. The SEC, the strength of the SEC, I'm sorry, is not found at Ole Miss. The
No.
SEC, for this thing to kind of flip back the way that they would expect it to be, the SEC needs Georgia to continue to be Georgia, Alabama to become Alabama again, Florida to become Florida again, LSU to become LSU again, Texas to take that final step and become Texas. And on top
And
of all that,
Oklahoma.
they need Oklahoma to be Oklahoma, and they need Texas A&M to finally step into that mix consistently. If all of that happens, there is no doubt who the best conference in the country is. But right now,
Yeah.
that isn't happening.
No.
The SEC is not driven by Ole Miss. It's not driven by Vanderbilt. Those teams can have great years and nobody really notices. But you have a team like Alabama who goes 9-3, makes the playoff, and then gets embarrassed by Indiana. That's a bad season. I mean, that's not supposed to happen. LSU doesn't even sniff the playoff the first 2 years,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they haven't been into a playoff yet. Florida, they're worse than LSU right now, and so all of that to say, those blue blood SEC programs have to rise up and be who they are. If they
They
if
do.
they continue to struggle and be in this cycle of mediocrity that they found themselves in, the SEC is going to struggle out of it. I don't care how good Georgia is. I don't care how good Texas is. If those teams don't step up and be who they are expected to be, the SEC will continue to kind of founder a little bit. And I was dragged kicking and screaming, but man, there is no argument that the Big Ten is not the best college football conference in the country right now, and I don't
Yeah.
think it's particularly close until some of these other SEC teams rise up and be who they're supposed to be and have been historically. So I
Well, and
agree with
what's
you on that.
crazy is if you look at the last couple of playoffs, the only wins the SEC is getting is against themselves. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah,
Ole Miss, now they did beat Tulane, but you're not going to put a feather in your cap about that. And they
right.
beat Georgia, but that was it. Oklahoma or Alabama got a win over Oklahoma, and then they were destroyed. You go back a couple of years before, and you kind of start running into the same sort of things, and it's just I don't know. I feel like this is major put up or shut up time. Big year for the SEC. A lot of pressure. And they need to assert themselves early. I'm looking
Agreed.
at some of their big teams. You've got, of course, Texas playing Ohio State. You've got Georgia doesn't have an early big game. They play Georgia Tech later. Bama's got Florida State. Ole Miss is playing Louisville. LSU's playing Clemson. A&M's playing Arizona State. These are early on. You've got Oklahoma, Michigan. You've got to say right now, this is because at the end of the day, the big argument for the SEC is, well, we have to play a bunch of games against each other and we're the best. Well, what makes you the best? Because we play against a bunch of games against each other. That's not an argument.
Mhm.
Your argument has got to be outside of it. They've got to assert themselves early, and that's what I'm watching for in the first few weeks.
That's one reason why I wouldn't say I'm pulling for LSU and Lane Kiffin, but they need some juice down there. They need somebody
I
that
mean,
comes in there and makes LSU, um, a top five team in the country again. You need Florida knocking on the top 10 at least. And then when you start getting that, and these games that you do play head to head against each other, that's when they actually start to matter. When you do go
yeah.
into the swamp and Florida's really good and you're able to beat a really good Florida team or an LSU team in Baton Rouge. So that's the thing that I believe, and I agree with you 100%. That has to start showing here sooner rather than later. It has to take place this year, or you're just going to continue to see that gap widen. and rightfully so.
Yep, for
Okay,
sure.
one more question here I had, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion. I know this is more than one, but this I thought about this last night as I was putting this together. But you know, who do you see on the horizon, kind of rising from the ashes? Who's the next Indiana
Mm.
in college football? We know with the environment with NIL and everything that's going down with this. When you see this, you say it's easier now to get better really fast. The way the landscape is currently. Again, Indiana is that example. But I put some teams down here and again, when I say some of these, you're going to say, well, you've already talked about them. But college football needs these programs to rise up and be good and kind of be the next Indiana. I've got three of them here. You may have some more off the top of your head. I've already mentioned Oklahoma State. The Big 12
Yep.
needs Oklahoma State to be Oklahoma State. Okay. Um, and they kind of need that kind of knockoff of Oklahoma there in the state of Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma needs some competition up there. Um,
Yep.
I mentioned Florida, John Sumrall at Florida. I think they made a good hire with him. He kind of reminds me of a Kurt Signetti light. He's a little bit tightly wound. Um, but that's what they need probably there. And so we'll see how that relates there to Florida. And I've already mentioned Virginia Tech with James Franklin.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't have any excuses now in terms of coaching. I mean, they got one of the best in the country, in my opinion. I thought he was unfairly criticized at Penn State. But yeah, I see those three teams as maybe being candidates to be that next quote rising from the ashes. I know it's not really the Indiana comparison that you might think of with that because these were already
Yeah.
established. Um, but that's kind of seeing those teams maybe on the upswing starting this year.
Yeah. For me, and of course, this is one of the things, and this was another one of the storylines you mentioned Indiana that I'm watching is, since the NIL era, we've seen Indiana come out of nowhere and become a power. We've seen Miami resurrected. We've seen Ole Miss make a semifinal. We've seen A&M and SMU make a playoff. Like there are teams that are kind of. We've seen Arizona State suddenly become I mean, my goodness, they should have knocked off Texas in the playoff 2 years ago. So we've seen Texas Tech. Who are the teams? The first one that comes to my mind is UCLA. And I'll tell you why. Number one, California specifically, but the West Coast needs some good football again.
Yeah.
You got Oregon out there who's doing it. Washington's trying to kind of find a footing. They found it a couple of years ago. Then they got a new coach, and but USC is doing okay. Like they've kind of gotten back on the map, but man, I don't know. Like there's something magical about watching one of those California teams play in the Rose Bowl. Like it's watching UCLA and USC just really being powers. And I don't know if you know who UCLA's new coach is, or at least where he came from, but he was the guy who replaced Signetti at James Madison. And he did pretty good out there at James Madison. And it's Bob Chesney. And so they're one that I'd be like, wouldn't that be kind of cool? I feel like right now football has pretty much left the West Coast. It's all Midwest and Southeast. So to me, that is one that I would really like to see thrive and flourish. And I think I could see another one that I miss being good. And I'll just be honest, it's been a while since they've been good. And I'm having to look up because I don't even remember who their coach is right now. But it's West Virginia. West Virginia, I remember them for quite some time being, there was a year, back about 20 years ago where all they had to do was beat a 4-7 Pittsburgh team and they were going to be in the national title game. And this was back when only two teams got in. And do you know who's back at West Virginia? Do you remember Rich Rodriguez?
Yes.
Do you remember? He's actually back at West Virginia. They're another program that you go ask any Big 12 team. Is there one place that you hate to go play? They're all going to mention Morgantown. They hate going there.
It's great for a fan perspective.
Do what?
It's a great from a fan perspective. It's a beautiful place and a great fun place to watch a game.
And of course that would get Pat McAfee fired up, of course. But I would love to see
Country Roads, baby.
Them. Yeah, I would love to see them good again. And so those are two that kind of stand out to me. And then I'm going to tell you another program that I just think, and this is from someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s college football. I just really want to see Nebraska good again. I want to see Matt Rule or somebody get that thing turned around. It's so weird for a person that grew up in the 80s and 90s to sit here and watch Nebraska, Colorado again, Arkansas. They're just irrelevant. They don't mean anything, because in the 80s and 90s they meant a lot.
Absolutely.
And so, but Nebraska is one I would love to see get relevant again.
Agreed on all of that. Well, man, we've talked about a lot, and we have only scratched the surface. I know you and I love talking college football, and we're going to do that this season here on From the Press Box on the Right Team podcast. Again, he's Matt, I'm David, and thank y'all for enjoying our show and watching our show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Please don't forget to check us out on YouTube at The Right Team Podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook for additional content and updates you don't want to miss. As always, we ask that you stay tuned, subscribe, and do not miss an episode, because we've got something for everyone on this podcast, Matt. I think I've recorded podcasts pretty much straight for the last, 7 days for sure. Got a lot of content already out there in different areas. So got something for everyone, hopefully, that you can latch on to and enjoy listening to. Again, thank you all for listening and supporting us right here from the heart of our home here in East Texas in the Piney Woods. Going to remind everyone that next week we've got another special football preview show. Matt and I are going to give our local high school football preview right here from the press box. That's going to be fun as well. And the local season, my gosh, starts around here for many on the 27th of August. There that week, that 27th and 28th, which are Thursday and Friday, of course. It's going to be hot in the stadiums. Just get used to it. But, man, we're going to love our high school football when it comes here and kicks off next week as we sit here recording today. And just next week, I know, Matt, it's been fun today, but, man, we're going to have some real fun with that local show next week.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining for sure.
Smackover Norflet School District is more than a school system in the great state of Arkansas. We're a family. From award-winning academics and fine arts programs to championship athletics and hands-on learning opportunities, Buckaroo students are building bright futures every single day. Whether it's celebrating student success, supporting our community, or creating unforgettable memories in the classroom, Smackover Norflet is proud to inspire excellence from preschool to graduation. Join the tradition. Join the Buckaroo family. Smackover Norflet School District. We are one family.
At Hallsville ISD, excellence is more than a tradition. It's a way of life. From championship athletics to award-winning academics, Hallsville students are succeeding in the classroom, on the stage, and in competition across Texas. With dedicated teachers, supportive families, and a community that believes in its students, Hallsville ISD continues to prepare the next generation for success. Hallsville ISD, where tradition, pride, and excellence come together. Go Bobcats.
At Karnak ISD, big opportunities come with a personal touch. From dedicated teachers and caring staff to a strong connection with families and the Karnak community, students are supported every step of the way. Karnak ISD also proudly participates in the community eligibility provision, providing free breakfast and lunch for every student. It's a district where families are welcomed, students are known by name, and every child is encouraged to learn, grow, and succeed. Karnak ISD, small school, strong community, bright future.
Join us for a historic evening at Elysian Fields ISD as we celebrate the official grand opening and ribbon-cutting ceremony for our new Elysian Fields Elementary School. The celebration takes place Thursday, August 20th at 6:30 p.m. Come tour the beautiful new campus, celebrate this exciting milestone, and help us welcome a new generation of Jackets. We invite all students, families, alumni, and community members to be part of this unforgettable occasion. We can't wait to celebrate history with you on August 20th. Elysian Fields ISD. Tradition lives here. Hello again. I'm David Weaver. With over a quarter century of experience as a public relations professional, I understand the importance of getting a story straight. After all, perception is reality until the reality becomes the perception. The reality is that someone, somewhere, is talking about you. More importantly, they are listening to you. The way you communicate makes a huge difference in public perception of your school, business, church, or nonprofit organization. Right Team Services helps you tell your story with clarity and purpose. From website and social media content to press releases, graphic design, promotional videos, crisis communications, and more, Right Team Services delivers professional messaging built around your goals. Visit rightteamservices.net and learn more about how Right Team Services can help you tell your story more effectively and efficiently. Right Team Services, purposeful communication with powerful impact. For months, you've asked one question. When is the Right Team Daily coming back? The wait is almost over. Beginning Monday, August 31st, your favorite daily podcast returns with the stories that educate, inspire, and remind us why history still matters. Every day, we'll discover the incredible events that shaped our world, celebrate the birthdays of remarkable people, remember those whose legacies continue to impact us today, and close each episode with a biblical word of encouragement to help you face the day ahead. Whether you're driving to work, enjoying your morning coffee, or simply looking for a few minutes of inspiration, the Right Team Daily is your daily source for history, reflection, faith, and inspiration. Mark your calendar for August 31st. Follow the podcast wherever you listen, and get ready to start each morning informed, encouraged, and inspired. The Right Team Daily returns August 31st. Until then, as always, keep writing your story.